You ready?
You can go ahead.
Welcome to the Draeger XL. She's old. We don't like her. So to start off, when you first turn it on, it's just going to go straight to start. I didn't even touch anything and it started. Okay. So we don't like that. I'm going to stand by real quick. Stand by. Anytime it's highlighted yellow, you need to push this in. Same like on the V500. Anytime the little ring, oh my god, there's a lot of y'all. Anytime there's a yellow ring, push it in because it's not set yet, okay? Reset this thing, reset that. Okay. So to start off, on this side over here, you're gonna hit check, and then you've got 2 checks to do on both Draegers. You're gonna do device check and breathing circuit check. Breathing circuit check is gonna look for leaks. You want at least under 300 mils for the leak for it to be passing and acceptable to use on a patient. I usually start with device check because it takes longer. It's about 8 minutes. So find something to talk about during your check off, I guess. Device check here, hit check, and then it's gonna ask you little prompts up top. Check correct position of the exhalation valve. So get it in. And exhalation valve is not something that we can actually get into because it's in the machine. Later on, it'll tell you about the flow sensor. It'll ask you about NeoFlow and all that, so we'll go through that step by step. So is it in? Yeah. Connect test lung to Y piece. With that, it just means cap it off with a hat. Thank you.
I don't think it flipped.
I'm just gonna hold it. Connect test lung to Y piece. Confirm with yes. And it's gonna check. It's gonna be really boring in your video. Just check. Check correct position of the flow sensor. So you want to make sure this is inserted in correctly. It's in. Close it up. Yes. NeoFlow sensor placed at Y piece. We're not using a neonatal circuit, so you can just hit next test. Is HME/filter ready to use? Sure. Patient hoses correctly connected. Yes. Connect test lung to Y piece. Once again, the cap. Confirm with yes. You don't SST on a patient, so this is always going to be your test lung here. Even though we have a test lung, it's always going to be with cap on. So it's going to say connect air supply, disconnect oxygen. Follow your green. It's just gonna go through. You don't hit next test just yet. It's gonna do the check, and then you're gonna have to reconnect and then flip flop. Take off air after this. Okay, so connect oxygen supply, disconnect air. Y'all, this is like the whole freaking class. What are you doing in here? Split up.
You're popular.
No, I don't like that. I know a few of y'all texted me, but I didn't know the whole class. Okay, connect air and oxygen supply. Connect. So audible alarm sound check. You hear it? Yes. Now it's going to do the flow calibration. It said it's okay. Disconnect CL NeoFlow sensor, press this. We're not doing anything with neonate, so just next test. It's gonna say it was aborted. Now it's gonna do an O2 cal. And this one's a little sensitive when you just touch it, so make sure you're just using your nail or something, because it could easily skip to the next test. Still doing that O2 cal. List for this one. In the meantime. Calibration okay. And that's it. So now, since you've passed through this one, you're going to go through airtight check. And then after you click that, you're going to hit check up here. It's going to tell you seal the Y piece, confirm with yes. And now it's going to look for any leaks within your circuit. If it finds a leak either here or any on the temp probes, it'll fail. It'll tell you the leakage number here, and then it won't pass. It'll just, I think it'll show you a little red circle instead of a green circle. Right now we're at 96 mils per minute for the flow. Keep Y piece open, confirm with yes. And that's it. It doesn't really tell you passed, but you're gonna have to read it. 96 is less than 300, so we passed. And then you start with new patient over here. Get this. And then you can go to your settings over here if you want to go ahead and get those settings ready before you connect to the patient. Then you connect and it's activated. Okay? So we'll start on volume control. I'll just put in a random volume. I'm not going to go through like the simple modes like volume control, pressure control. Those are going to be the same on every ventilator. We'll go over the special names on this vent because this one has different names for volume control, pressure control, all that. And the additional settings like auto flow. This one doesn't have pressure volume guarantee. So little differences, but for the most part, the modes will all work the same. Volume control is always going to be volume control. Okay? So on this vent, volume control is actually CMV, and it's ingrained in us to avoid CMV because it's a control mode. We don't like it. Start. Let me get y'all's list out real quick so we can hit the main points at least. 1 sec. Second, let me pull up y'all's list.
Oh, I have it printed.
You do? Love it. Why are you in class, Mahadi? Why are you in this class?
I'm always learning.
Thank
You have the check off sheet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on
Is there an Excel one?
It's just a smaller version of it.
Check, breathing circuit check, we did that. On this one, so I said CMV is like volume control, just make sure you know the naming differences. It's just a name game after you pass through the E500 and the XL. Between these two, they're very similar, but there are some differences, okay?
There's an XL one.
There is an XL one.
Oh, I didn't see it.
No. Let me take a picture of it. We're gonna have to crop out a lot of your video over here. Zoom it in. No, I'm just kidding. Ash in the back. Cool, got it. Yeah. Okay. So CMV is volume control on here. If you go to additional settings, you'll find your automatic tubing compensation that overcomes the work of breathing associated with your airway. You'll put in, if you turn it on, you can set the percent of compensation, and you can put in the ET tube or the trach size and whether or not ET tube or trach, and it'll overcome the work of breathing associated with that airway. On this mode, you'll also see, or on all of them, you'll always see your flow trigger. Flow trigger is the only one that you can actually change on here. Pressure trigger is always on in the background. So on or off. If you turn it off, pressure trigger is still active in this vent. But if it's on, you can adjust that trigger to set it as sensitive as possible without auto trigger. Next you have auto flow. What happens when you turn auto flow on? So it'll make your volume modes into PRVC. And if you turn it on, so we'll go back to the mode itself, you'll see auto flow is on right now. We turn it off. If we go back, you can actually adjust your flow rate here. If you turn it on, you cannot because it's auto flow. So that goes away there. And then another additional setting here is psi. So if you turn it on, you can actually give intermittent levels of peak over a few cycles on each breath, so it gives you a little bit more for recruitment. Helps with that. It's different from the Psy that you see on the Avia. On the Avia, it gives you 1.5 times your tidal volume, doubles your eye time, and it's used for 4 mils per kilo tidal volumes. On here, it's a little different. Same with that other Draeger over there. Autoflow. Hold on a second. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay. Next we'll go to PCV Plus. Y'all know what PCV Plus is? Start with PCV Plus Assist. Do y'all know what PCV Plus Assist is? Yeah. So same stuff as normal PCAC, okay? Nothing different there. You'll set up your settings here. FiO2, eye time, your rate, slope. What is slope on here? Mhm. Which is how fast to hit. And you've got your inspiratory pressure and your peak. Additional settings on here is always going to be your tubing compensation and your trigger. So nothing special under PCAC. We'll go to this. Alright. One second, pull this out. One sec. Alright, so what's PCV Plus? So what's different on here compared to PC? Well, we'll just do additional settings here. You'll get inspiratory pressure on here for your settings, eye time, your rate, how fast to hit. You'll get pressure support because it's SIMV. Tubing compensation, you've got apnea ventilation in case they go apneic, flow trigger. Nothing special. What's that?
The tubing, so if you have tubing compensation on and PSV, is that like on top of the support of PSV?
I think so.
Okay, so is that?
So you have to turn one off if you want to give, yeah.
So we shouldn't have both on?
Oh, you're gonna give them too much. Let's see what's next. APRV is gonna be APRV, nothing special there, so we don't need to go over that. But, let's see what the settings are. Nope, nothing special. Just know that the names will be a little different, right? T high is your eye time, T low is your E time, P high, P low, inspiratory pressure, and peak.
And no third termination on that one.
Yeah, only on that one over there. Let's see what's next. Our checklist. Next we have MMV. What's MMV stand for? Y'all just seem ready. Why y'all here? And what does it do? How does it work?
It's like their set minimum ventilation.
So if they're breathing on top of it, that set ventilation that you
They're all
have,
spontaneous.
and if they breathe under that,
Then, depending on how much they still need to reach the target, it'll give you the amount to reach it.
yeah. So mandatory minute ventilation, it only gives you mandatory breaths if your spontaneous breath rate and volumes are less than what you have set with your rate and your volume here. If you're breathing over it, it's not gonna do anything, you just do your own breaths. If you're under your calculated minute ventilation, then it'll deliver additional machine breaths to get you back to that target minute ventilation that you want. Additional settings on here are going to be the same, ATC, flow trigger, and since this is kind of like volume control MMV, you will also have auto flow to make it PRVC too. And then if you forget, there's a little arrow on top that teaches you. It's been here the whole time. And it teaches you every mode, so, you know, distract your person, I guess, if you forget. Okay, next we have Smart Care. Does anyone want to tell me what Smart Care is? Crickets.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Y'all giving everyone else a chance. Okay, Smart Care. So it's gonna adjust pressure support. Let's find it first. So Smart Care is gonna be found under CPAP/pressure support. It's gonna be the third setting right here. It just gives you, it's like a smart CPAP. It adjusts the pressure support level based on the patient's respiratory rate, tidal volumes, and tidal CO2. More so on that one, you have more little fine-tuned settings on the other Draeger. We use it to wean patients like we do any other CPAP mode out there. It just gives the patient a break at night. So you'll turn it on and give them a break at night, and it makes them work during the day so that hopefully they can come off the ventilator. And then on here you can add in patient's weight, the airway, like ET tube or trach, what kind of humidification they have, medical history, like if they've got neurologic conditions or COPD. You can turn on night rest if you want to give them a break at night. And then when you want it to start and end. And then just attention. It's on. Additional settings under here is going to be your airway stuff, apnea ventilation in case they go apneic, and your flow trigger. And you'll set it normally like CPAP. Okay? So, let's see what else is on y'all's list. Relationship between VT, IT, and flow. What is it? Hmm?
You said all three.
Yes, but so if I was to increase my flow rate, how does that affect my I-type? On Draegers. But just in general, VT, IT, and flow, what's the
Flow
relationship?
is equal to VT over IT.
So if you increase your flow, what happens?
If you increase flow, everything stays the same.
On Draegers, yes. Yes, so flow and I-time are inversely related. On this ventilator, if you increase your flow to beyond what can be delivered in that time, it'll create that inspiratory hold, like you said. And it's only on both of these Draegers, not on any other end out there.
Me too.
Have you guys looked at this ventilator in detail? Do you know where to find waveforms, loops, all that jazz? No? Bunch of nodding
They
over
kind
there.
of lay it out though.
Huh?
It's like not hidden.
Yeah, not hidden at all. Alright, let's see if I can find it. We'll find more values with this 1, 2, 3 up there. And then special procedures are special procedures. You'll do your inspiratory hold here, expiratory hold. You can also do it, you can add it over here on this side to make it easier. Diagnostics, you can get your PO1. What's PO.1?
Occlusion.
What's the 1 for?
0.1?
Mm-hmm.
10%.
100 milliseconds. So it's PO.1. Occlusion pressure in 100 milliseconds. It's going to block off your breath and see how much pressure it takes you to generate a breath. What numbers are y'all looking for that?
Oh, wait.
You want it closer to like -1, -2-ish. If you're at like -6, it's taking you more pressure to generate a breath. And so your work breathing is going to be too high. It might not be best to just extubate right off that. But you're not going to use just PO.1 to determine if they're extubatable, right? You'll do a CPAP trial, see how their volumes are, see their RSBI, all that jazz.
I do have a question. for your inventory hold and your expiratory hold, how do you do it and find the value?
So your values are gonna be here on the side. Just, you'll have to do 1, 2, 3 over here and just find wherever it lands really. For some reason, I don't know if we ever were able to get plateaus on this Draeger. I don't think we could do
It
it.
takes 5 seconds, you have to hold, I hold for 5 seconds.
I know, but I don't think we could do it last year during ours. I don't know.
Never had an issue with it, I don't know. You don't wanna try it?
Yeah, 'cause it's grayed out.
Oh, what motor are you?
We're just killing them. Let's go to volume. There we go. So manual breath once, and then you hold it. Just hold it. Should be right there. There we go. And then expiratory hold, same thing. You hold it, your value will come up on the side. And then okay. Let's see what else is on here. Okay, so we've got P-max on volume modes on this ventilator. What's P-max? Guess max pressure, that's what P-max is. But what does it do? What is the sporty do?
Cycles.
Okay.
Gives people
No, you go. I moved and I was talking shit.
Kind of like your alarm. It's like, I think P limit on the GE.
It's like the true limit without cycling off and expiration, right?
Hmm?
It's opposite.
Like P-max over here is like P limit over there.
Yeah.
Max, so cycles the breath.
No.
Yeah, I think it's
No, it doesn't. This
P
one's
limit
opposite.
over
This
there
one's like the
holds
true
it.
limit without cycling.
over here too.
And then the P limit is basically the high pressure
Oh, because they're flipped on those two.
on the
The
other
names.
compared to the other.
There is no P limit here.
Oh, there's no
That's
P
on the
limit.
GE.
Oh, just kidding. I'm thinking of that.
Okay, so P-max cycles breath.
No.
No, it does not.
Hold it.
It's just like hold
Hold
it
it?
there.
Okay.
That
P
holds-
limit and this one.
Well, okay.
There's no P limit on this one.
It depends on what vent you're on. Because P-max also exists on the GE. On this one, it's P limit, so it holds the breath.
P limit,
Just like
that's what the name is?
It's P-max on this one.
It says it's P limit.
P-max here is P limit over there.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a P-max over there too.
Correct.
I just added an extra number.
You
Okay.
just made a vent.
I could have sworn that they said that they had both and that there was switch. That's why I was confused about that.
I think it's on the GE.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Yeah, because GE has P-min, P-max, and P-limit. This one just has P-max.
Okay.
And then your actual alarm setting.
Okay.
So wait, can you describe it just one more time? There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so P-max here is like P-limit over there. When it's hit, it's gonna hold it there. P-max over there, it'll cycle. Because it's your pressure alarm over there. Yes. This is a review for me too. I don't use Draegers.
So Sumi P limit, when you're saying over there, that's on the 500?
The GE, yes. I'm always gonna be like, over there, behind.
Making sure I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the GE, so y'all have to know that too. We'll get to it. What else do we have? Alarms, high pressure alarm, high volume alarm. I feel like everything else you can kinda, I don't know, suction, O2 suction, hit it, 100%. Cancel. Slope, how fast to pip, auto triggers, just your flow trigger, you'd adjust that. Compliance and raw, that's always gonna be the same, right? On here on your checklist, it's gonna say auto flow, y'all know that's PRVC. P0.1 we did. And then like, how do you identify a leak and over distension on your loops? Same stuff as before. Nothing new, hopefully. I guess there's a nebulizer on here. You can hit the neb button here, connect your neb here, and you can actually use the flow from the vent to deliver medication to your patient. And let's see if we can find anything.
Yes, P limit and P max, they say that, yes, correct. Your P limit is wherever you say it. Correct, yes.
I don't use this.
No, that's why.
I don't know where anything is.
Well, then you have to
Can
keep
you
going.
say the 3 things that if it's missing compared to the V500? There's like 3 big differences.
So volume guarantee on your pressure modes, you won't have that on this ventilator, only on the V500.
Have what?
Volume guarantee,
It's not on this one?
no. So on your pressure modes, to make your pressure mode into PRVC, you have volume guarantee turned on, only on the V500. On the XL, you cannot, there's no option for volume guarantee. So only your volume modes can be turned into PRVC with autoflow. Next is going to be your expiratory termination under APRV. That 75% Hibachi number to guarantee gas trapping is not available on this vent. It's only on the V500. So there's a third.
What is the third? See what happened these. It was volunteer and there, I don't know. there's
ESV
one-
on P-high?
There you go.
Sure. That'll do.
There was a list. APRV, no auto release, CPAP, pressure support doesn't have variable PSV.
Okay,
Very
yeah.
cool.
That's an additional setting on the V500 where you can actually adjust the percentage above and below that it could change automatically. We'll see it on that one. And that's the Excel. She's ugly. I don't like her. Loops, touch this. And this one. Loops. Here's your P-max. Here's your pressure alarm in the red. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, I know we should already know this, but can we get like a quick breakdown on how our alarm should be set again?
Yes.
Just
Okay.
like a little template.
Just a quick review.
I don't remember.
Alarms?
I may or may not remember.
Okay. So on this vent, I'll just go vent specific because it's going to be different per vent, right?
Yeah.
Some vents have some extra nonsense. So we'll go based off this XL. You've got your minute ventilation alarm. For the low, you just do 1 below. For high, you can do 2 above, or you can do MAT. You can do tidal volume times respiratory rate.
Your high respiratory rate, right?
Yes, you'll use your high respiratory rate, not what's. So you'll set a high respiratory rate, usually at like 25. Use that 25 multiplied by your volume, and you'll have your high alarm. High pressure alarm, you'll do 10 to 15 above your monitored pressures. Inspiratory tidal volume, so it's like 100 to 200 above your volumes that you're getting. We're in volume control right now, so you already know what volume they should be getting, but if you're in pressure control, use your monitored volumes and set it 1 to 200 above. This is going to be your respiratory rate. I usually set it at like 25. You'll see when you get to clinic, it's never going to be 25. It's like 45 or 50 because these people keep hitting those alarms. So it'll be way different in clinic, but for lab, you can do 25 to 30. And then apnea time, this is just T apnea. For adults, is usually 20 seconds. Peds is like 15, and neonates is like 5 to 10. We don't want babies to go apneic. So adults is always going to be a standard 20. So should probably change that. This one also has a limits to page on the alarms. It's for end tidal CO2 monitoring. You won't have to know that for this checkoff, so ignore limits to. Anything else? Yeah.
What'd you say about the P high? How did you
P
say
high?
that?
Oh, so in terms of like
The
changing
alarms.
modes,
The
oh,
alarms.
P high, 10 to 15 above your monitored pressure, peak pressure. So right now they're peaking at about 14. I would maybe do like 30. Do like simple math. I'm not doing 29. I know the checkoff review kind of sucks. I don't care about the Dragers right now. So, it's kind of a review for me too. Let's see. I don't think they'll test you on the nebulizer button, but I don't know because they have a new rubric.
I mean, basically, the only thing they can ask you about that is just like, how does it affect it whenever you give nebulizer treatment?
I guess versus off the wall, because if you do a neb off the wall, it'll change your volumes
Okay.
based on the additional flow you're adding into the circuit, versus if you use the vent, it's using whatever's already in the circuit and it accommodates for that. So same with BiPAPs. If you're in clinic and you do a BiPAP with the neb in line, your volumes will be different. So do your check first, then add the neb in. So that's all I got. Bye. Yeah, this one's a little more simpler than the V500, I would say. V500 has some extra stuff. So we're good to move on from the XL.
Yes.
Yes? All right. Where's the power button?
But
Good.
in the front.
In the front?
Oh, just kidding.
You push it then. All right, what do y'all want to do next? GE. GE?
No, I don't know.
All right, let's do it. You want